Hi, Andrea. Thank you for your next essays. Now let's have a look at task one first. This is the graph about car sales, right? Three brands, European countries, and let's have a look at the text. Okay, the given bar chart illustrates the amount of automobiles sold, sold should be after the subject, in 9 different countries of Europe, not nations. Nations is about people and countries about the territory over a 1 year period, namely the 2018. Okay. Moreover, the graph, I wouldn't say moreover. I wouldn't say moreover. I would say the graph takes into consideration the sales of three models of car, Ford, Audi, and BMW. Okay. I might suggest that you combine the two sentences into a more economical, into a more um, space-saving formulation. This would save you um, some words in task one and some time as well. Overall, the major number of vehicles was purchased, not has been, was purchased in Hungary. And I would say Ford being the brand, you don't need to capitalize, no. The word brand doesn't need to be capitalized. The brand itself, like Ford or Audi, yes, it does, which sold the greater quantity of cars. You cannot say extent, no. It is clear from the chart that nearly 400,000, if you have thousands in English, it is customary to put a comma in between the hundreds and thousands. Automobiles were bought in Hungary in 2018. Such figures were quite the triple of those in Italy and Belgium. I like this formulation, very well done, which represented the countries where the car sales, you don't need the plural, were the lowest. Approximately this for both nations. Nations again. I told you what I think about nations, right? Furthermore, Hungary, UK, no, K has to be capitalized as well if you write UK, because UK stands for United Kingdom. Holland and Belgium dwellers, I wouldn't say dwellers, I might say inhabitants, or locals, or drivers, maybe drivers, or no, just drivers. Prefer to invest in the Ford brand. Okay, that's an interesting way of putting that. Audi vehicles were majorly sold in Germany and Poland, and finally, BMW cars were mainly chosen, not chosen, but chosen, like this, by the inhabitants of France, Ireland, and Italy. Okay, yes, so perhaps you could replace these dwellers by drivers. Okay, very nicely done. To conclude, in 2018, car sales, you don't need the article, you simply need to say car sales have been largely various. You can say varied greatly, varied, not largely. You don't need present perfect, you need just past simple. Were varied greatly among the 9 cited countries, European countries. In particular, Hungary took the record for such sales over that period. Why such sales? You can say automotive sales over that period. And apparently, car lovers trusted the Ford brand the most, or chose the Ford brand the most. Okay, very nice task one, but again, you need to polish things here and there. But overall, you have very good topical vocabulary, very good structures to report data, and you're quite clear. And I don't really have to stop and think what you meant. So yes, this is a very good task one. Now let's have a look at the essay. What is that about? That's about pollution, right? So what are the reasons for pollution and how can this be solved? Okay. Over the last decades, pollutants produced in the cities and released in the environment have been drastically increasing, and consequently, pollution is at the center of a heated debate among governments. Okay, I like this part. But you say pollutants. When you say pollutants, that makes me think about chemicals somehow. I don't know why. But yes, this is an okay way of saying that. Um, this problem, I would say, this problem has different causes, but in this essay, you don't need the commas here, no? The main one will be discussed, and some possible solutions will be proposed. You don't need the semicolon, you don't need the finally, no. Nice introduction, very, very clear, very relevant. To begin with, the carbon footprint of the larger cities has recently risen due to the overcrowding of due to their overcrowding, and you get rid of this. You don't need this. In fact, no, the linking expression is in fact. A great number of workers is moving to the cities because they don't need the men. They are lured by the opportunity. Great use of vocabulary, yes, by the opportunity of better jobs and facilities and work facilities, I would say, work facilities, because you cannot say just facilities. I wouldn't say but, I would say yet. Yet, such workers use private vehicles to go to their workplaces. I would say to commute. Do you have commute later on? No. You would need commute because that's a specific verb which means to travel from home to work and vice versa. To their workplaces, and this increases city traffic. I wouldn't say actually, of course, it goes without saying, so you don't need actually. I would say, and this greatly or tremendously increases city traffic. City traffic, exhalations, not exhalation. Exhalation is about breathing. Emissions. You can simply say car fumes and carbon dioxide emissions, and this will be great. Since carbon dioxide is the major cause for the greenhouse effect, comma, which is the major cause for climate change, you have major cause here and you have major cause here. You will have to get rid of one of them and find a synonymous expression. I'm not going to choose it for you. I can leave this to you. So think of another way of saying that, but don't keep this repeat. This is not very good style. It can be assumed that overcrowding is one cause of the global warming and air pollution. Very nice argument. Very, very nice argument. Very clearly done. It is clear that a solution must be provided as soon as possible to reduce the extremely harmful harmful consequences. Yeah, I wouldn't say of this type of pollution, or of air pollution. You simply say air pollution, and you've said the type. And indeed, a cooperation between private citizens and institutions could be the most suitable one. Okay, I'm not sure that you need this indeed here. You can say, and in this context, maybe in this context would be more appropriate. On the one hand, or on the one hand, individuals are strongly suggested to become green consumers. I would say to go green. To go green means to be more eco-friendly. For example, by buying and using electrical cars whose exhaust, let's say, exhaust of pollutants is extremely, extremely like this, not contained, limited. On the other hand, institutions should opt for green policies, not politics. Politics is about politicians, but policies is about measures that are taken for green policies, and you don't use articles with plural. I wouldn't use a semicolon. I would put a full stop because a variety of sentences, long and short sentences, used to advantage, makes the text easier to read and clearer to understand. For instance, they could allocate major resources to foster developments of public eco-friendly transportation, public transportation. Order of adjectives. First, you refer to public transportation, and this public transportation has to be eco-friendly. Very good topical vocabulary. I love your use of vocabulary. Such as electrical trams. Perfect. Doing that, I would say by doing that, they would allow, I would even say will, they will allow people to avoid using cars when commuting to work. When commuting to work. I would use a linking word for concluding. Thus, it can be concluded that cities are apparently turning into furnaces. Impressive imagery. I love your imagery. You have this language complexity that is required at very high IELTS bands. Please keep up the great work, but fix your accuracy, fix your small errors in grammar and vocabulary, and I am sure that you will take a great band. Which produce continuously harmful gases. Harmful again, spelling. Which continuously produce harmful gases for the environment. Okay. Surely a cooperation between individuals and governments plays, I would say will play, no, no, will play a key role in stopping such detrimental transformation. Great word, detrimental, but why transformation? I think you should use something else, another word. So perhaps development, perhaps I'm not sure which transformation you meant, but I can infer, of course, but you better use something more appropriate here. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is development. So this is a great essay. Very complex, appropriate vocabulary. Yes, there are some slips in using the vocabulary, but nevertheless, you have good sentence structures that need to be polished. And by polished, I mean that you have minor errors that once you get rid of them, you will have great text quality. So keep up the great work. Make sure that you pay attention to the details that I told you. Learn from your mistakes. You have seen me correct many of your mistakes in the text. You have heard me comment on your mistakes. Learn from this and make sure that you don't repeat them for sure in your next essays. Thank you, and looking forward to more of your writing next time.